Hi everybody, this is Bill Flynn, I'm the Executive Director of the New Canaan Nature Center. And since it's spring and new life is coming out, I thought it was really important to talk about where all of these beautiful plants start from, no matter if you're a giant tree or just one of these little grasses here, or let's see, some of these trout lilies coming up in the forest. That little speckled guy. So all of them start from one source, and that is as a seed. Now there's many ways seeds get around. So today we're going to be able to tell you about how seeds disperse themselves, or seed dispersal. They do it in a lot of different ways, and in this one little section of the Nature Center I was able to find most of the ways that seeds travel. So I'm going to start right here as I was walking around and found this plant that had these delicious berries on it. Now the first thing I'm going to tell you is I have no idea what this plant is, and it's okay not to know all the answers sometimes. The important thing is I took a picture of this. I'm going to take it back to my computer and I'm going to find out the answer. So your homework for today is this little plant with these little berries, finding out what it is. But what I do know is that these berries contain the seeds. The seeds for this plant are inside of that berry. Now, why would a plant put its seeds inside of something that it wants animals to eat? And that is because that's how they plant their seeds. They want an animal to eat this berry. Same thing for apples, same thing for any fruits that have their seeds in their inside of the fruit. They want an animal to eat it. Then the seed will go down through their digestive system, and then eventually it will, that's right, it'll come out. This is called plop planting. So the seed will go through the animal's digestive system, the animal will walk away, and the seed will actually be planted as the animal goes to the bathroom. Plop planting, as the seed goes out, plop, in the dirt. It's also sitting in a lovely pile of fertilizer. It's a great strategy for planting your seeds. Now, seeds or plants don't want their little baby trees or plants, they don't want them growing right next to them, because then they'd have to share their basic needs like sunlight and water and nutrients in the soil. So I had another, here we go, another plant, or another seed that I found right here on the ground. You know what this is? Yeah, this is an acorn. Now this, most of you will probably know that an acorn comes from an oak tree. So this is another strategy that plants use. This can either fall right next to the tree and get planted that way, but most of the planting done for acorns and oak trees is done by squirrels. So some plants actually rely on animals, not only for plot planting, but also the actual planting. Squirrels will go around, they will dig a hole near their nest. They will dig it down, put it in the ground, cover it up, and for later for its food. Now, of 100 acorns that a squirrel does end up burying, they only find about 85 out of 100. So 15 of them are just planted in the ground and then they'll become oak trees if all the conditions are right. Looking around, I don't see any squirrel nests, but there's got to be squirrels living here somewhere. So some plants actually get planted by either other animals or people. We're great at planting things. So moving along, we've got two strategies covered now. We've got our plop planting, and we've got our seeds planted by other animals. Now I came out here to the pond for a specific reason, because this has a third way that seeds can travel, and that is by floating in water. This green plant floating all over the top of this is not algae, but this is called duckweed. So duckweed, their seeds actually will float on top of the water, and it travels around that way. That is our third way in just this short walk. We've had our third way of traveling in about 50 feet. So we've got our plot planting, we've got our planting by animals, and now floating on water. And then, moving right along, there's a plant that grows right next to our pond And it's not active right now, but I did find a pod of seeds that grows right next to it. Some of you might know that what this is. There is a specific caterpillar that grows that feeds on just this plant. A Monarch Caterpillar does. Anybody? That's right, this is a milkweed pod. This is known as an exploder. So see all those brown marks right inside the fluff? That is, those are the seeds, and when at a certain time this will burst, and then when it catches the wind, these will float away, okay? These seeds will then explode and float away in the wind. There they go, floating away. And so again, they don't get planted right next to the plant itself because they don't want to share all those nutrients with it. One more that grows next to our ponds. I found this pod. This, I'll give you a second to guess. Comes from a plant, water-loving plant. It's called a cattail. Now cattails, again, those brown specks in the white fluff, those are the actual seeds, and as you can see as the wind blows, the fluff is actually floating away. Okay, the seeds are traveling on the air. See, there they go. See all the seeds? Floating away on the air. And so they travel off and get planted that way. We've had our plop planting, our animals planting for them. We've got our floating on the water. We've got our exploders with the milkweed. We've got our cattail, which is a flyer, floats on the wind like dandelions are another good example. There's one that we don't really have here because we don't have a lot of natural forest fires. So I brought one out from our collection, and this, you can probably see, is Pinecone. This comes from a pine tree called a Coulter pine tree, and these are native out west. A lot of them are in desert scrub areas of California, and the seeds are actually inside of each of these parts of the pine cone, each of these petals, and they will only be planted after a forest fire. They have a really thick coating of wax, and the only thing that can melt it is the heat of a forest fire. And so these are only planted once every 40 or 50 years when there is a forest fire, and then the new trees come up from that forest fire in really rich, fertile soil. So there's actually plants that depend on fire for their planting. The last one I brought with me, not on purpose, but they're hitchhikers. And as you can see, I've got some right here on my clothes. Now this is designed to get caught in animals' fur as they walk along. And so you've probably gotten these stuck to your clothes before. These are called burrs, coming from the burdock plant, which grows, you could probably have some of these in your backyard. But burdock seeds actually stick to the fur of the animal, so they walk away, and as they brush past something, it falls off into the ground, again, away from them, so they don't have to share those nutrients and sun, and that's how they plant their seeds. So we've got the hitchhikers, we've got fire, we've got our cattail, which was our flyer, we've got our milkweed pod, which is our exploder, our duckweed, floating on water, then we had our acorn, which is planted by animals, and our berry that's planted by plop planting, going through the digestive system of an animal. That's all for today. This is all about how seeds disperse themselves, and most of them I found in one small area. So we have all of them right here in your own backyard in Connecticut. Thank you very much. This is New Canaan Nature Center. This is our marsh pond. You can come visit here anytime. There's even a couple turtles out on the dock enjoying the sun. Right there. Lots of stuff to see. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon.